Chapter 17. The war goes on. Indeed, it's very, very important to understand the link that is existing between the darkness and the light. As I explained already before, I met a lot of people who told me, but Iji, don't you know, you have to accept your darkness, that you take with your light, and you make an harmony of this, and then you become really wise because you accept your darkness. It's like yin-yang. And those things are manifestations of the darkness. It's a protocol, another intellectual masturbation, brain's fart, to justify that it is fine to accept the darkness. It's funny because it can be with Jesus Christ, it can be with Buddha, it can be with Lao Tzu. I never read anything like this anywhere from the people who were enlightened. I never read that you have to accept the darkness, you have to deal with the darkness. Never. So why is it that everything that is presented today like being with the light is always talking about accepting the darkness? The people who are talking, whoever they are above Jesus Christ, above Buddha, above Lao Tzu, above Krishna. Not bad. Not bad. All the leaders of spirituality of the world that were at the origin of the creation or even of a very strong religion and so on, they never spoke like this. They always spoke about sins, they spoke about out of my sight, I don't want to see that, I don't want to accept that. Jesus Christ was presented like a being of love, was a being of love, but he was tough. And when something was presented to him that was maybe a little tiny door to the darkness, he was getting really angry, out of my sight. So Jesus Christ, a being of love, was like this. But the new age of today, they know that we have to deal with the darkness. And of course, all of this is a demoniac manipulation to push you to be invaded by the darkness. Because if you accept a little bit of darkness, you accept the complete darkness. You will be passive light and you will fall into this manifestation. You have to be non-violent. You have to be tolerant. That are two keys to be with the darkness. You have this protocol about the food on our planet now. People are not vegetarian. They are much better than vegetarian. They are much better than vegan. They are flexivorian. Means that they are so advanced that they eat what the food that their friends are going to eat. Wow, they are so advanced. So I can be also flexivorian about the light. Sometimes I am with the light, sometimes I'm with the darkness. Sometimes I have the spirit of helping people, and some days I am pedophile. You know, I deal with my darkness. I'm not really pedophile because just from time to time, you know. And this absolute craziness is allowing anything. All of this is coming from the New Age. The New Age is an agent of the masters of the world. It has been created from the very beginning, not completely beginning, but from Alice Ebele. It has been created to inject total darkness in the spirit of people. You know, at the beginning was the theosophy, a long time ago. In the theosophy, you had a philosophy of being committed against the darkness, to be very clear. A disciple of the theosophy, for instance, was Conan Doyle. Conan Doyle is the writer, the author of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is the incarnation of the philosophy of theosophy. No one knows that. I'm wondering why. It's easy to find. Sherlock Holmes is intelligent, clever, witty, efficient, honest. Yep. And the theosophy was also organizing the future. They started to look after a kid, Krishnamurti. They wanted to look after him because they knew that he could become somebody exceptional. So they asked the family to look after him. The family blackmailed them. They said, no, it's not one, it's two. The second brother of Krishnamurti was very ill. So they had to look after the health of the brother of Krishnamurti, and also to educate Krishnamurti, but also his brother. They paid the best schools for the two kids, while in fact they were interested in only one. They invested a lot of money for something like 20 years. When Krishnamurti was ready to take the follow-up of the theosophy, because Blavatsky and also Leadbetter were getting too weak and too old to look after all of this, Krishnamurti said, no, I don't feel like, and he went away. I'm not interested. The family used the system of the theosophy for 20 years. When it was his time to use everything that he received, teaching, everything, education, he just went away. In spite of this, Krishnamurti is a cool guy. You have many books from Krishnamurti. Every book that Krishnamurti wrote is coming from the knowledge of the theosophy that he received totally and for free. So even that is the entry of darkness. We don't know exactly why Krishnamurti refused. So you have the New Age version, he was not in the power, he wanted to be with the light, so therefore ignored this invitation. Yeah, it can be that. It can be also that he accepted the money of the leaders, of the power, so that he was betraying at the last second, backstabbing Blavatsky, who paid everything for him and who looked after him for many years. After that, as always, to justify this, Krishnamurti started to testify that he suffered a lot, that it was very hard with them. Well, if the theosophy hadn't been there, he would have been a kid in India, staying without food or nothing. So again, the presentation of suffering a lot. You have no idea how many times I saw that. After that, as Krishnamurti betrayed, Blavatsky died with no one. All a lifetime was spoiled for nothing. Theosophy was sentenced to die. Then arrived Alice Ebele, who worked for the government. She was a woman totally sick and crazy. She tried many times to commit suicide by putting her head in the sand. That was a way to commit suicide, and she tried that in her life 3 or 4 times. And that's her, more or less psychic, but in a very bad way, who became the leader of theosophy. And with this, she manipulated the theosophy from the inside to turn it into something completely demoniac and diabolic. Then arrived I forgot the name. Yeah, Shirley MacLaine. And Shirley MacLaine took the teaching of Alice Ebele, that was already a fact teaching that was done on purpose to go to the darkness, and she used this teaching to create the New Age. And Shirley MacLaine became the teacher, the mistress of New Age, and everything that was created and that is still created today in the world, you have Shirley MacLaine arriving and saying, if you follow my teachings, I will help you to develop. That's what happened to Kundalini Yoga, to Reiki, to so many schools that seem to be like, no, we're just a school, independent school. It's not true at all. Every time you have Shirley MacLaine. That's what happened to Findhorn in Scotland, everywhere. She comes, she's catching, she's taking the control. The New Age is everywhere, and now it's a fashion. So to understand, if I don't follow the fashion, the presentation, if I don't speak about this non-violence, accepting the darkness, blah, 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 it's not spirituality because it became spirituality. There's a girl I know, she's lesbian. And one day I said, but how do you recognize between each lesbian? How do you know? And in fact, she said it's very easy because we have a special haircut, we behave like this, we always wear the things like that, the clothes like this and so on. So there's a protocol. If you don't want to be a typical lesbian, you can be a lesbian, but you will never have somebody because no one will see that you're one. So if you want to be a lesbian and to have friends, you have to accept the codification of the L world, Spirituality of today is exactly the same. So in the world of today, if you are not the typical spiritualist, it's not spirituality. If you don't accept to negotiate with the darkness, to accept this instability, to be non-violent and to look at somewhere else when the darkness is exposed, that you tolerate totally the injustice, blah, 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 all this fucking shit. If you don't do that, you're not spiritualist. So no one will talk to you in the world of spirituality. And as in the rest of the world, you are already quite isolated because you refuse the darkness. If you don't take the stereotype of the spirituality of today, then you are totally isolated. It is done on purpose. It's a trap of the darkness, the cobweb of the darkness, of the New Age. And then all this philosophy is becoming the source of the absolute darkness. And it's really, really hard to change something, because if you don't speak, if you don't behave the way of the New Age, the way of the official spirituality, you will be alone, like a lesbian. Who doesn't want to be the typical lesbian? And you have topics that are completely forbidden, like the truth, like the commitment, like fighting for the light, like existing, committing yourself totally, eating correctly, being vegan, not smoking, not drinking alcohol. Who are you to impose things like this, e.g.? I have some friends who went to present our little place in a rainbow meeting. Rainbow is like, half hippies, half Indians, half I don't know what. And so they presented our place where, first of all, we say non-violence, no violence in the place, no meat, no smoking, no alcohol, no drugs. And the people on the rainbow, they said, but how can you introduce your place with so much negativity? Of course. So the rules are done in such a way that you cannot say no to the darkness. Because if you say no to the darkness, strangely enough, you're negative because you say no. I just imagine that in Germany, during the last World War, and when they asked me to kill Jews, I said no. And the German would tell me, oh my God, you're so negative. Why do you refuse? Try just a little bit and you will see. The answer is no. N-O. And if you don't learn to say no, you are totally unable to say yes to the light. They can say whatever they want. It's a fucking lie. And when you start one way, you don't end. You go deeper and deeper, and you are completely with the darkness. For instance, if I take this back the story of the Bonfin, the school of Amram. The school of Amram was in the shit because appeared with some people the story of pedophilia with Amram. And of course, it's very embarrassing. So finally, why did we have a crash with Peter Deneuve? In fact, here's the story presented in the Bonfin. As we cannot face this situation, of course not. It's too tough, it's too heavy. So finally, the master Peter Deneuve was about to be arrested by the SS, by the Gestapo, during the war, as he died in 1944. He took a rifle and he committed suicide. So his head was exploded and blah, blah, blah. And when the Master Omram knew how the Master Peter Deneuve died, he didn't want to hear anymore about the Master Peter Deneuve. And on this, I will go even a bit further. Let's imagine that it is true. It's not true, but even let's imagine that it is true. The Master Peter Deneuve protected the Bulgarians. During the war, he advised the prince not to take position in the war and not to be part of the war. Otherwise, Bulgaria would have had a lot to pay and would have lost a lot of people. Then further on, the Master Peter Deneuve saved 50,000 Jews by influencing the king to react like this and so on and so on. So, of course, if the Gestapo is about to arrest the Master Peter Deneuve, we know what's going to happen to this master. And even if he had committed suicide with a rifle, so what? He was about to die, tortured by the Gestapo. Isn't it all right and honorable to die quickly instead of being tortured by the Gestapo, by the SS? The SS, they were opening your legs, putting your balls on a chair. They were taking a hammer and exploding your balls like eggs. Ploop! And then the Master Omram would have said, I don't want to hear about the Master Peter anymore because he committed suicide. Well, to give you the truth, I have a very good position to tell you the truth. It is nearly true, but it was a soft way to do it. That is to say that the Master Peter Deneuve, I remember pretty well, went on the roof of a house for 2 nights, getting very, very cold, being nearly completely undressed. And then he got a pneumonia. And in 2 or 3 days, he died very quickly. And when the SS came to arrest him, his corpse was still lukewarm. So finally, it's nearly the same, the rifle, the pneumonia. It is done on purpose not to be arrested, because it's war. So the Master Omram would have decided not to be in contact with the Master Peter Deneuve because the Master Peter Deneuve wanted to avoid the torture. And the Master Omram was in position to judge his own master, while in fact he had problems with his own master because he refused to go back to the country because he was not yet ready as we could have seen with the evolution of his life with sex. That is the evolution of darkness. As soon as you do something dark, you confess it. So you will need to invent a new story to justify your position. And you will take more darkness to justify your darkness, and more darkness to justify the darkness of your darkness, and so on. And this is why you must be absolutely a warrior, merciless, a samurai of perfection. If you start to negotiate on a little thing, it's already finished. You know, we have a saying in French, we say, you give a finger to somebody, it's not like in English, impolite in this way, you give your little finger, means just you offer something, and they take the complete arm, and even the shoulder. This is what the darkness does. But in that case, you have to apply the English saying, give a finger to the darkness, but nothing more, just a finger deep into the, yes. You don't negotiate. Because it's indulgible. It's just indulgible. I remember that, for instance, I spoke about Marina. So we have to go back to the story of the last chapter. She's the girl that I protected in Malta when she started to describe how much she hated her body because her mother taught her that she was a devil, a monster. I tried to really educate her so that she's able to realize that she's pretty. Unfortunately, she had given her address, that is our address, to her parents. So the parents could go to the police to say, arrest this guy. He fled from France when he was arrested the first time, blah, blah, blah. And that's why Malta was very happy to arrest me, because the Maltese government hated what I did with the refugees. So all together, it was too much. They were delighted to arrest me and to torture me. So this girl is totally responsible. In jail, I lost my eyesight. I lost my family, my girlfriend. I lost everything. I nearly died. So this girl, Marina, she's really, really in the shit. Really in the shit. And I never tried to contact her anymore because I don't care. One day, when Berlin were invited in a concert. This concert was very funny because I was with King Iku. And it was a concert of bowls, you know, Tibetan bowls, and so on. And the woman is going to say at the beginning, I'm going to do a little meditation before starting. So, okay, why not? I mean, and the meditation, instead of being, 30 seconds, 1 minute, it's going to be, a quarter of an hour. And I remember that I found that ridiculous. This is so much new age, again, arrogant. And I mean, if you want to meditate at home. You don't invite 50 or 80 people to do a meditation of quarter of an hour, 20 minutes before playing your fucking music. Be a bit realistic. Stop dreaming all the time. So I was sitting on the couch, I remember, and I found that so pitiful, lamentable, ridiculous. And King Iku, she's sitting on the side with a big smile, but really a big smile. She's really enjoying a lot. Nearly like moving if she was hearing a silent rhythm, something like this. And I was a bit surprised to see how happy she was. And at one point she's turning to me and she's whispering in my ear, I think I'm deaf. Silent, she heard nothing, so she was just enjoying a silent concert. And I laughed a lot. And then some people turned to me and they said, shh, and I said, but there's nothing to listen to. That is the cinema of the New Age. And Marina is there in the concert. At the end of the concert, I was with 4 or 5 people. So at the end, we had a little circle, we were standing somewhere and started to talk. And suddenly, Marina appeared in the middle of the circle. Eyes open, hands open, hello! And I didn't say a word. I looked at her, I suppose not in a very sympathetic way. She felt embarrassed and she left, and I never saw her again. And I don't want to see her anymore. What is terrible is that in this situation, how can you come to EG talking to people appearing like a clown? Hello! Like it's as if nothing. And if I were talking to her, she would have been starting to express why, because I protected her mother did that, why she gave the address, why she betrayed, and why she's so right to be so wrong. There's not one coming and saying, I was a slut. I was tortured by my parents, you helped me, and the only feedback that you had was to go to jail, to be tortured, to lose your girlfriend, your family, and even your eyes. And she comes, hello, like as if nothing. There's a girl, Claudia, in Spain. She was betrayed by her boyfriend, and she felt extremely down. So I protected her. I even paid her Euro Disney with my daughter because, she was very young and she wanted to enjoy and to forget a bit her boyfriend. And later on, she's very embarrassed, so she's going to call her boyfriend and to blackmail her boyfriend and to tell her, you come to fetch me, and we never ever speak together about EG. EG is the forbidden topic. What is going to happen? The boyfriend, who is ready to anything to get back his girlfriend and his pussy, or her pussy, is going to say yes. The girl has nothing to say against me. It is just that she cannot face the fact that I taught her, I protected her, I helped her, even in a horrible situation. And that after that, in my back, she called back her boyfriend and she said, come and fetch me. She even tried to leave without paying some money that I had spent for her. So after that, how do you want her to face the situation? So she's going to say, I stay with you under one condition. We never, ever speak about EG, ever. Yes, of course. And it goes on like this for eternity. Anything that you will accept to do that is dark will push you to the complete, total darkness. Any negotiation that you have with the darkness, you will pay it very, very dearly. That's what we call the beauty of the devil. The devil will give you something, but you will have to pay so much, but not now, a little bit later on. Now you can enjoy. And this is why I always say with the darkness, you win, but you lose, always. Because whatever you invent, whatever you can justify now, you will stay with yourself forever. And all this darkness, as soon as you try to go to the light, will come out. And unless you start to be a fantastic warrior against the darkness, there is no way. The light is teaching everybody sinned before because it was too heavy, too difficult. The real sin is to go on now while you know that we are here with you. So it is a way to understand, okay, it's a new page now. And with the knowledge and the relations I have, I don't go back to what I did. But everything that I'm going to do now has to be perfect. No negotiation at all with the darkness. Any kind of negotiation. Any kind. And if I have a girlfriend who is super hot, super pretty, who is asking me to betray my friend, or to steal some money, and to criticize this one or this one so that I can stay with her, the answer is no. Masturbation is 1,000 times better. In psychology, I call it the octopussy, the obsession of the pussy. And you have no idea what people can do under the influence of a girl or a man, because they are in love. They fall in love. You should arise in love. It's very different. It's another teaching of the darkness. You don't fall in love. You arise in love. You become a son. Let me teach you the story of Meikyo. Meikyo means the clear mirror. And it's the story, a Japanese legend, that the sun was one day disgusted by the darkness of humanity. So when she discovered how dark the humanity was, she decided to go to hide in a cave and to stay there. So humanity was plunged into the complete darkness. And her brother, another god, decided to go to the cave and to talk to the sun, who didn't want to go out. So he decided to take a large mirror and to present the mirror at the entry of the cave. And there the sun could see how fantastic she was, how pretty the light was. And when she saw that, she said, I have no right to take that away from humanity. And she went back to the sky to give the light and the guidance to humanity. You don't accept any darkness. You concentrate on your own light. You look at yourself in the magical mirror as a being of light. And the being of light is not accepting one drop of darkness. You are complete, total light and nothing else. There are no negotiations of any kind with the darkness. Never. And I know that for you, you would like to hear about the light. I will give you a little bit of light. But I want you to understand the denial is, in the pentagram, the opposite of the truth. The truth is the path that is giving the freedom, is the path that is giving the freedom to be a being of light. The denial is the opposite. You want to deny the danger of the darkness. You want to deny the power of the darkness within yourself. You want to deny the attraction to the darkness that you have. What happened to the theosophy? What happened to the bon fin? What happened to Omram? I have been facing that all my lifetime. One day, I worked in karate with the master Harada. Master Harada was a disciple of the master Funako Shigeshin, the founder of karate, and Shigeru Egami. When the GKA association was signed, a Japanese Karate Association, JKA, sorry, the master Funako Shigeshin had to sign, and he refused. So he was obliged. He was an old man alone, and he was obliged to sign. So he went to the meeting, and for 3 hours he went to different bakeries, eating a lot. He was diabetic because he was totally disgusted, deeply sad. He arrived 3 hours late for the meeting. He came, signed, and left, which was his way to say, okay, you oblige me to sign, I sign, but I reject totally because you're just obliging me. And after signing, he refused to teach to any black belt, only brown belt maximum, and because he didn't want to have anything to do with the competition. When he has been walking for 3 hours to bakery, he was with a young student. It was Harada. At that time, not yet Sensei Harada. Harada Sensei. Just a teenager at that time. Then he was the disciple of Shigeru Igami. And Harada helped another master, Master Murakami Tetsuji, who was also my master for many years. When the Master Murakami Tetsuji died, there was a disaster in his association, people stealing money, the family of Murakami that was left like piece of shit and so on. So I reacted against this injustice. I created an association, IKDS, International Karate Do Shotokai. I did that with my best friend, Adam Prince. And we have been fighting for years to protect the family of Murakami and his teaching. So I was ahead in that, quite well known. Many years later, I go to practice with the Master Harada. And when I go to practice with the Master Harada, Harada and his disciples, they are not happy at all to see me. And knowing that, Harada helped a lot Murakami Tetsuji to get the dance from Shigeru Igami, the degrees and so on. So he was a teacher and a connection between Shigeru Igami and Murakami Tetsuji. And when I go to work with Harada, no one is very happy, far from it. And then they're going to tell me, after that I want to know, I want to understand, because I always want to understand. And I spoke with the disciples who told me, but you don't know what your master did to our master. I said, what are you talking about? And in fact, when Murakami worked with Harada, that he got the title of the master Shigeru Igami, 5th Dan, he wrote to the police in France saying that Harada was somebody very dangerous that had to be kicked out of France. And Harada at that time was kicked out of France because he was classified as a terrorist thanks to the letter of Murakami Tetsuji. And when they told me that, I said, no, I'm sorry, I know the guy, I don't believe you. But it happened that I had some friends in the police. I did some research and I found the letter. I couldn't deny. When I saw this letter, after years of protection for Murakami, I said, oh no, shit. Then I went to the next workshop of Harada. I did the workshop, and at the end of the workshop, the Master Harada was on the parking. So I went to see him. And I said, Master Harada, I come to bend down in front of you because I come with the guilt of my master. He said, no, you did nothing. What are you talking about? And I said, I know what he has done to you. I come as the head, one of the heads of the IKDS. I represent the teaching of Murakami, so I come also with his guilt. And I want to apologize in front of you for the dirty stuff that he has done. I carry his guilt. Please allow me to bow in front of you. And he refused. And I insisted, and he said, all right, okay, I understand your position, so you can do it. And I bowed down and I said, I deeply apologize, Master. I'm so sorry. And he bowed back to me and said, Iji, you will understand that with what your master did to me, I believed that this person was not a master. But when I look at you, at your honor and dignity, I start to change my point of view about this master. To have a disciple like you, maybe Murakami was really a master. And I bowed back, and I never came back. That is the meeting between two people of honor. I've been facing that all my fucking lifetime. Yes. You have no idea how many times I've been facing this horrible darkness, these lies. And then it's getting worse and worse and worse, and people to justify, they have to invent that or that or that. It's never stopping. It's never stopping. It's never stopping. The only way to be with the light is the knowledge of the light, but also the knowledge of the darkness. Don't ever negotiate. Don't steal the smaller thing. Don't manipulate. Don't lie. Now, you have to understand, there's a difference between the intention and the action. What do I mean? I mean that if I do something for the light, I have the right to lie, to cheat, not to steal money, not to get something, but to do the will of the light. And if to protect somebody, I have to lie, to manipulate, against a government, against the power, against the parents, against whatever, I have the right to do it because I get nothing from that. In that case, I have the right. And if I fight physically with a man with a monster of 2 meters 20 and with the pimp of 100 girls, I have the right to use every trick I know. And tricks can be also to pick up a stone and to throw it into the eye. Trick can be anything I have the right to use to destroy this man. I don't play, I don't practice sport. I can be merciless for the power of the light. But I will never get €1, 1 drop of power, nothing at all. So you have to understand, it's very different what you do and the intention that you have. I mean, I can be very nice with an old lady, I go shopping for her, I help her, I cook for her, but it's because I want to get her house when she's dead. That's dark magic. So you can be absolutely non-violent and being extremely violent. That's the specialty of New Age. It is not what you do, it is the direction, the intention. You know who you are, you know where you go, you know who you serve, and you serve the light, the love, the honesty. And because you do that, you have every right. But you never have the right to negotiate with the darkness, but you have the right to lie to the darkness and to be efficient against the darkness. And to do whatever is needed to let the light win. And of course it is subtle. Of course it is subtle. But you have to be very clear. You never act in the way of being nice with somebody because you could get something. Never. So, I could have stayed without saying anything about Omram. And a lot of people would have been turned to me like, he's the new master, blah, blah, blah. By saying what I say, by revealing what I know, anyone from the Bonfa will reject me like the devil. Of course I am the devil, because I said the truth. But the one who played with the kids is not a devil. Now at the same time, you have to understand, Omram did fantastic stuff. He was very honest about the money. He never stole €1. I never found anything that he stole. And believe me, I know everything. There's just one point. He didn't understand correctly one point about the sex, and he developed something crazy about the sex. And the frustrations about the sex are weapons from the darkness. Don't get naked, don't desire, don't fuck, don't come, don't... And because of this, you deny one aspect of your existence, physical existence. It is possible one day not to have sex. It is possible one day not to eat, not to drink. It is absolutely possible. But when you have all of this, it's about time for you to leave the planet. It is not possible to stay on this planet if you don't eat, if you don't drink, if you don't love, if you don't have sex. It's a lie. And if you inquire, as I spoke about Jesus Christ before, you will know that Mary Magdalena was the girlfriend of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ had a lot of problems with his disciples because he gave the power to Mary Magdalena, who taught a complete teaching about the sex, about the freedom. And a woman talking about sex, and a woman teaching in Israel at that time. You must be joking. It goes against everything. Well, it goes only against darkness. If you shine like a sun, you enjoy the life. And when one day it is time for you to leave these vibrations because your body is too old, because you cannot eat, cannot drink, cannot come, cannot have sex, cannot enjoy anymore to be with the others, it doesn't mean that you are with the darkness. It means that you go to a higher plane of existence that forbids you to stay on this planet. So our trick is to stay on this planet, accepting that I am a human and rooting myself with this planet with the pleasures of humanity. Friendship, brotherhood, adventures, learning, playing music, practicing sport, having sex, being handsome, pretty, eating correctly, drinking correctly, having a lot of love and pleasure to be with the brotherhood that is protecting you and so on, and enjoying always to say no to the darkness. The light is explaining that if you develop the pentagram of light, love, wisdom, truth, goodness, justice, you develop this heart of light that is receiving the 5 qualities applied all the time in your brain, in everything that you do, then you emanate this, you radiate this aura of freedom. The freedom is the light. The freedom is to be the sun. The freedom is to be an angel of light that is just existing completely freely by being an angel. Every time that you want to express the love, the compassion, the power of the light, the enlightenment of the light, the guidance, the wisdom, the knowledge, that you fight against the darkness, that you are a knight of a peaceful night of the light. It's another type of channeling the light. Instead of channeling a message, an entity, you channel the intense light through you. And by doing so, you install here on this planet a higher brotherhood of fighters of the light. And if you are not fighters, you are dark. I'm not talking about Kung Fu karate. I'm talking about this intensity of light where the darkness has to step back within yourself, around you. You channel the light. You become the sun. Meikyo. You can check by looking at your life through Meikyo, the clear mirror, that you are a sun. That you radiate light, intensity, justice, goodness, wisdom, love, truth. And you are this. And by being this totally and absolutely, it's another channeling. You are like vibrating like an angel. And the intensity of sex is part of this. And the intensity of the pleasure of eating correctly, a correct food that you enjoy, is part of this. And to breathe the energy is part of this. To feel your body alive and powerful is part of this. You are this angel. You shine this light through every quality. And that is the highest channeling, because it's called identification. You become and you are an angel for the establishment of a higher brotherhood of angels on this planet. By being this intensity, by being this light, you and any you of you, you incarnate this intensity of the angel. You act according to the rules of God, of the divinity. And by doing so, you are less human. You become like invaded by a higher power. You could visualize yourself more or less like a chakra from the series Stargate. You have within yourself the establishment of a knowledge, of a vibration, of an intensity. That is not only in the channeling, that is everywhere. When you walk, when you move, when you look at somebody, you are like a music of light. Everything you do, everything you say, everything that you refuse is the power of the light. And by doing so, you become like a submarine for the angels. Your body is vibrating so highly, so intensely, that an angel is living through you. And you have sex like an angel. And you eat like an angel. And you love like an angel. And you speak like an angel. At the same time, you stay human. You can joke, you can play. You can enjoy the life when it's funny to relax a little bit your humanity. But your complete existence, each second of your existence, is to become a submarine of the angels. You exist in a place that is thick and dark, but there is not one drop entering. You come to teach to the water of astral, of lies, of manipulations, to become air, to become light. You are an angel. When you look after business, after your money, after the salary, after your job, to rent your house, to buy a car, and everything else, you can get caught in a twister that is isolating you from your essence, from your angelic essence. It is normal, as you live on the planet, to get your money, to look after what you have to do. But you must always keep an intense presence of the angel. You mustn't let this twister exciting you, isolating you from the world of the divinity. You are an angel. And sometimes you have to look after the business of this planet, to pay your taxes, to do your work, to work with somebody who's a bit stupid. Okay, do that. But don't let these activities stealing your identity, your existence as an individuality, as an angel. You do what you have to do on this planet, and you commit yourself in what you have to do, but you don't believe in it. If you start to believe in it, you lose your angelic state. You go back to the darkness. Of course, you don't accept anything dark. How could you imagine an angel receiving a hidden envelope of money? How could you imagine an angel smoking, eating a chicken? How could you imagine an angel being drunk? How could you imagine an angel fighting with a girl and saying, but don't say anything to our friend? Be an angel. That is not stopping your human activities, but you stop believing in that. You can love your family, you can love your parents, but don't believe in your family. To believe in your family, to believe in your business, to believe in the money is to catch you in a twister that will isolate you from everything to put you back into the darkness. If you accept to lose your angelic state, you become like a lonely baby, lost in the middle of the water, drowning. And in this state of panic, you will do anything stupid. You will start to grasp onto anything that could save your life. You will accept the darkness. You will accept the betrayals. Don't panic. Stay quiet. Keep the control. Keep the link to us. That's the idea of the light. That's the war that you have to win. You must learn to discover again your surrounding. The light is everywhere. The angels are in the gaze of people of love, in the touch of people of love. The network of the light is everywhere. You open the radio, you open a book, you look at an animal, the light is there. If you're isolated from the light, it's because you isolated yourself in this twister of darkness. The reality is that the light is everywhere. We are everywhere, within yourself and around you. Your body is unlimited because you are everything. When you are this everything with a certainty and power, you know who you are, what you are, and you have never known better what you are and what you can do. You must learn to feel and to understand that when the light is touching you, is talking to you, your body is changing, your vibrations are increasing, and you can perceive the world in a more and more enlightened way. You can see things that you couldn't see before. Every time that you act positively, every time that you act like an angel, visualize a drop of light that is falling into your body, creating waves of light all over your body, in each cell of your body, changing your identity into an identity of angel, being more and more a light manifested on this planet. Learn to listen to the birds, to the wind, to the sea. They are the music of the light. If you are able to listen to that in a correct way, you can understand so much. It's becoming a fantastic, marvelous music. It's also the music of a girl or a man who is coming. It's the same thing. The same intensity, the same power of pure joy and pure love and pure light. Become that. Be that. You are that. I would like to specify, as every time in the chapters I try to give some exercises, that, for instance, if you open more intensity to the light and to the hypersensitivity, the water is something that is keeping the memory a lot, and it's quite easy to read the memory. So a fantastic experience of sort of wind meditation is to go to the sea and ocean or sea, it's exactly the same, and you put your legs in the water and you're going to read the water, the memory of the water. And you can get a direct connection with Gaia, with the memory, with the animals, with the power of life and the creation of life on our planet. Go and meet the water and learn to read the memory. Once you can read that, you can learn by meditation to read the Akasha Chronica. You can also learn to read the memory of things. It's harder, like a piece of sugar, like a spoon, like something that somebody else used. You take it and you read the memory, and you can gather more and more knowledge, more and more information. And all this knowledge is only used to express more light. You have access to the complete knowledge and memory of Gaia. If you don't work for the light, if you don't fight for the light, you are with the darkness, presented with the face of the light. The light is productivity. The light is shining. The light is intense. The light is working and pushing the darkness away. If you are with the light, you manifest all the qualities of the light. If you don't, whatever the excuses that you find to justify, you are not with the light. You must be reborn. But how can you be reborn if you are already alive? You must die for this. The angel of darkness must die within yourself so that you can be reborn as a being of light, as an angel. You must accept with humility and intensity to excel totally everything of darkness so that you can die to a level of existence, to be reborn to a new level of existence. And even if you decide to act like this, you have been throwing a lot of stones, creating waves in the water. And these waves will not stop at once because you don't throw stones anymore. You will have a certain time, a certain gap of time, where the waves of darkness will still go to you because of what you have done before. But if you stay in your new life with the light and only with the light, these waves will not be efficient against you. You will put down every wave of darkness. Then you will walk your way. And in your way, the darkness will bend down, will run away. Because with the light you are totally, absolutely in love, crazy, courageous, fantastic, marvelous. You will transcend your life. You will transcend this planet. You will help to change this planet to become one with the higher brotherhood of the angels. Being one, you will know the truth completely, totally, absolutely, without the smallest doubt, without the smallest hesitation. Be welcome, brother, sister.